Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you. You'll be watching this on Saturday, or maybe if you're watching it the next day, Sunday. But I'll be releasing this on Saturday, even though it is Friday evening here, and we have closed just a few hours ago. This video will be going out about 6 hours after I film it. So if there is any changes in price that look different than the video, that will be why. Okay, so we're going to jump into some Bitcoin. We're going to talk a little bit about Ethereum again. We've got the ETF coming up confirmed for July the 23rd, so in about 6 or so days. And of course, we've got the Musk Empire tap free airdrop update. So I'm going to share a little bit about that. But if you haven't smashed the like button already, please do so. That helps grow the channel and gets this content out to more people. All your comments and questions, I really appreciate the kind words that you take the time to write. I do read all of them, and I get back to all the questions as soon as I am able. Smash the subscribe if you'd like to join our ever-growing community. Okay, so we're going to jump into the Bitcoin chart to begin with. And all right, so we have the Bitcoin chart here. And what we spoke about was about the 50-day moving average. And what happened was this green candle. And this green candle was a result of the news that what happened of the planes being grounded, the computer glitch, and all the banks going down. And people will that's an advertisement for Bitcoin. Bitcoin didn't go down. You were still able to trade it. It was still functioning. It was still being mined. And so I felt that was quite a bullish thing. Now I'm waiting to see if this candle is going to get what kind of candle we get here today's close. But what I will say about this is that we had been hugging this, and it was kind of testing, and then we took off. And not only did we took off, but we took off and we busted through this trend line. This trend line has been either support or resistance for some time, all the way back to in December 2023. So it's been a while that has been. So what do I see happening from here is that can we still down? I had a question. Can we still come down and hit the 200 EMA on the daily and fill the CME gap? Well, right now, while we're above the 50-day moving average, I'm going to say no. But we have hit some resistance here at the 66, 67 level, which is quite big resistance. You can see that as the ribbons, the EMA ribbons broke down at this exactly at this level. So this was the level that we busted down from. And so there were a lot of people that got trapped there, and obviously we're having some resistance there. You can see there's even more over to the left-hand side. We can see actually there's a fair bit around the 66, 67 level, a lot of liquidity. And you can actually see on the volume profile here, we've just come bang smack into this. So I would expect we would at least come back and retest this trend line. We've already retested the 50-day moving average, so I don't necessarily see that we need to come down and retest this, but certainly that this could be a deviation. Is this going to be a deviation and back into this area here, or are we going to break above here and come? And this is what I've been predicting. All the way back in May, I had these trend lines drawn, and it'll be interesting. We'll need to go back to those videos and predicted that we would be breaking up out of this wedge around this time, around the end of July, early August. I saw us coming back out of this, and then there is a bigger wedge pattern here that I think we come out of and break above that. So what are the chances of going down to the 200 EMA and filling the CME gap? Look, I think it's definitely still something that's on the table. Particularly, you've got to see that as we're above the 200 EMA, this is just going to keep coming up and up and up. So when people say, wow, I'll come back and test the 200 EMA, well, by the time we come back and test it, it could be at 61. It might not be at 58. And we don't have to necessarily fill all of the CME gap. So how would I be trading this? Look, the way I've been trading this was during this entire time here that we were down. And when did we break down here? I mean, we've been down since March, and we had a little bit of a pump up and then a heavy downtrend. It's just I've identified on my cheat sheet levels to dollar cost average in and be prepared. And so I was prepared, and I dollar cost averaged in, and I encouraged everybody on the Discord and on this YouTube channel to dollar cost average in. And I hope that you did. Now, if you didn't, I am going to do a video on my cheat sheet showing are there any coins left that we could be jumping into. So in here, I think it's a little bit early to say. I may do an update tomorrow at some point. I won't be doing a video on Sundays as usual unless there's some major market activity. But certainly I'm looking to see if this comes back for a retest. If we break it down to the 4 hour, seems like we might be having a little bit of a retest here. No, we haven't come back and retest this by the looks of it, unless that's a wick there. Has that come back and retest? Kind of. You could maybe call that a little bit of retest. Remember, all these trend lines, they're drawn by me, so they're very subjective there. So yeah, so I would be saying this, but I also say the 200 EMA on the 4 hour should provide some resistance, and that's where the 50-day moving average is, around this area. So I think if we do pull back, first of all, will this hold as support? And if it does hold in support, I think, and we get several tests, obviously if we bang away on it, usually I find like 7 or 8 hammerings away on it is enough to break down. So if we test it, you can see we only tested the 50-day moving average for about 4 days, and then we took off. Certainly we saw this candle here. It was based on a news event. In my opinion, it happened around the same time as that news broke, but the people can't access their banks and they're freaking out and they're like, I need to get into Bitcoin here. But it was a great advertisement for Bitcoin. So let's just see what happens here. Certainly I'll be interested to watch these bands as they get wider, tend to want to come back in again. You can see that this happens as the bands get too wide. They get drawn back into this top yellow band here. And if you actually go back and look at some of the price history there, it's the same that happens the other way. When these bands really widen out here on this ribbon, it will get drawn back and drawn back and drawn back like a magnet. And this is why I love trading this ribbon, and I do share this ribbon and how to add it in my life-changing gains series. So please go and check that out. So you've only just had a close above this trend line. We've come bang smack into resistance. I wouldn't be surprised though if we came down and retested here a little bit. I wouldn't even be surprised if we broke back down to the 50-day moving average, even down to the 200 EMA on the 4 hour time frame. The 200 EMA on the daily time frame is down here. Can I see us coming down here? I certainly think we could possibly do so, but I think this line might be up here. I'm not sure we're going to come down and visit here anytime soon. Certainly, I feel like we could. This would be a more likely area that we could have a little bit of a drawdown or a pullback to this. But we'll see what happens, especially when the ETH ETF launches. Maybe there'll be some flow from Bitcoin into Ethereum, cycling in and cycling back again. This will be very, very interesting to see what happens when that all takes place. So we'll just be watching that. Certainly there is some, we're looking for the minor capitulation. We're looking for that blue buy signal. We certainly haven't seen it. We're still on the green. So miners are still capitulating there. So we'll just have to see what ends up happening with the minor capitulation and see what happens with the price of Bitcoin once we get that blue buy signal. And that's the thing that I would be checking for daily as well, is as soon as that blue buy signal hit. And I tell you what, if you're on crypto Twitter or you're in the Discord, I'll be updating that as soon as I realize that, because that's a major buy signal. And I think a lot of people are going to really jump in on that. Now talking, I'm just going to pivot to Ethereum. Ethereum. So we're seeing something similar here with Ethereum, as Ethereum has finally broken back over the 50-day moving average. Look at bang, bang, bang through. So I'm going to want to see some closes above that. I think we'll get that. I think the ETF news is fairly bullish. I think we'll break through this, and I think this will turn into, this order block will disintegrate and will bust through this 3,500 level, and then they'll retest this as support, and then I believe we'll push up to this other level here, coming up to around 3,800, and this is a block where I am personally going to take profit on some of the trades that I am in. With Ethereum, I'm in a couple of trades, so I'm going to look at getting some profit in there. But ultimately, I think the move heads up to about 5,400, and I'm not sure how long that will take to get there, but certainly that's my upside target for Ethereum, where I'm going to lock in more considerable profits there. Now, just a few notes on Ethereum for those of you who don't know, and this is how important tokenomics is. But if you look here, the Ethereum supply is the supply had dropped 455,000 since the merge, and they changed. But however, the supply has gone up by about 150,000 ETH in the last 3 months. So if the supply of ETH keeps increasing at 60,000 ETH per month, then we'll see the supply revert back to what it was at the merge. Currently, since the merge, the supply is minus 298, but that will only take 5 months to revert back to what it was in this place. Now, for those of you who don't know, all of Ethereum, I think Ethereum supply is 100, but the main thing with Ethereum, yes, they don't have unlocks, but they haven't capped their max supply. That means new tokens can be released. They do burn tokens as well, just as an FYI. There is token supplies getting reduced. So those people who think that it's a deflationary, it can be deflationary, but at the moment it's inflationary because there are more tokens being released on the market. So just keep an eye on that. I'll certainly try and keep an eye on that and keep updated on that, because I think that's fairly important. Solana is the same, by the way. And this is why I love Bitcoin, because it has a fixed supply, as does Potenza Tau. It has a fixed supply as well of 21 million. They can't just keep adding tokens to the supply. And so I think that's important to know. When people go, oh, why isn't the ETH price been pumping? Well, because they have been releasing supply into the market there. And I think that's kind of kept. And maybe they've done that on purpose because they want ETF buyers to be able to get it at value. They don't want ETF coming in at 5,500, which I think the price of ETH could have well been. And so I think that's why a lot of people have been asking and saying, oh, why isn't the price of Ethereum been pumping? This could possibly be one of the reasons why that hasn't been the case. All right, and then lastly today we'll look at Solana. Solana here, Solana USDT here. And so, it's interesting because people will be saying, hey, I haven't got enough Solana, I want to buy more Solana, but there was a lot of opportunity down here to buy some Solana. If we actually come onto my other chart that I have set up here, there's been a lot of buying opportunity on Solana. And I've been covering this. I've been telling people to buy in my cheat sheet. Now, what would I say about this? I would say that if you buy at these levels of 170, do I believe that you'll eventually make money on Solana? The answer is yes. I do believe that you will make money on Solana at these levels. However, when I say this, the risk is obviously higher because what if Bitcoin drops back to 60 or 59 and fills that CME gap? Then you're going to be kicking yourself because I put all my dry powder here and now I've got none left to buy back down here if it comes back down again, because we do have a little bit of a range down the bottom here. You can see that clearly across here, that this was an ideal place to just load up on your Solana bags. plus the funding rates were negative. There are all these local bottom signals, which I share day after day after day after day on this channel to encourage people to not be fearful and not believe in the FUD. And this is why I had all these levels here set up on my cheat sheet, and almost a lot of these levels got filled. And so if you got a lot of these levels filled, a lot of your tokens are already going to be in profit. And we haven't really even hit this bull run. And this is why I created this master cheat sheet for people for this purpose. And so if we look at Solana, and I know Josh has said on his channel that anything Solana under $200 is a steal, and I would agree with that. I think it's going to $600 to $900, but I would just caution that to say that nobody has a crystal ball, nothing is guaranteed, and there's less risk if you'd bought it $50 lower than what it is right now. And there were two great opportunities in this dip, one there and one there to pick it up, since we dropped down, and I think it was it March there that May. Actually, there were just opportunities since March, since we dropped down in March and April when it hit 200. There were many opportunities to pick this up. 1, 2, 3, 4 times you could have picked this up. And so look, if you haven't, so be it. If you want to jump in at 170, certainly it's more risky. That's all there is to it. There is more risk associated with it. The RSI is climbing on the daily time frame when you could have got it down when it was low, all these bottom indicators. So it's just more risk. And you look at the RSI on the 4 hours is oversold, rather than getting it down here when it was it's overbought. And it looks like there's actually some bearish divergence there. Yes. Yeah, so certainly we've got the price has gone higher, but the RSI is created a lower high on the RSI when there's a higher high here, a lower high, higher high, and we've got a higher high and a lower high. So we've got opposites here. So that's just the risk. And it doesn't mean that it's going to play out. It may not play out. They don't always play out. Bitcoin tends to be the ones that play out. And the reason that altcoins don't always play out, because the altcoin markets will follow Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has something going on, then it will tend to pull the altcoins in its direction. And so all you've got to say with that is just more risk. That's all it is. It's just more risk to be buying it now when it's overbought instead of oversold down here. And there is some bearish divergence on the 4 hour. On the daily, it does look fine on the daily there. So, but again, it's starting to get up and being to overbought territory, although we can get quite overbought. And this can take a while to play out, by the way. This can take a while to play out. So we just need to be careful with that. So I'm going to finish off with a quick Musk Empire free airdrop. These will be free tokens that will be sent to your wallet for playing this game. We don't know how many tokens you'll get or how much they'll be worth. That's just the fun part of it. We haven't even received our Hamster Kombat tokens yet. They're going to be airdrop. We don't know how much they're going to be worth. I'm not feeling incredibly optimistic about Hamster Kombat because we as a community didn't get involved until June, and then the airdrop's meant to be in July when this was Hamster Kombat started back in March. So there were many months of people been mining. We've only been mining here for a few weeks. Yet this is a lot better because this game was off and running, I believe, this month in July. So I believe we're a lot earlier to this one. I do like the game a lot better. I think it's more advanced. I think they've improved the Hamster Kombat model, just like Hamster Kombat improved the Notcoin model. I don't know if these guys are going to be, how generous they're going to be with the airdrop for all the follows on, if you follow them on Telegram, you get this. And if you follow them on YouTube, you get free coins and so forth. And they haven't really gone and given a great breakdown of all the metrics. And there's nowhere to link your Ton wallet as of today. I checked earlier. Maybe they've changed that at some point today. So, but I will say this, the link is in the description to start playing this game to get free airdrop of tokens that you will be airdropped, and then you can sell and take the cash. It's just basically free money. You just don't know how much free money you're going to get. Now, this game has something a little bit unique. It has something called community. You can create your own community. Now, I can create a tribal trades community when I have 500 people that have joined up via the link below. Okay, so if you can be so kind, click on that, join via the link below, get some free money, get some free airdrops. I think I would expect you at least get 50 to somewhere between $50 and $500. I think it's going to be $100 to $1,000 if we get going a little bit earlier. That's been my experience. I'm expecting the lower end for Hamster Kombat, but getting in early on this one. As long as, look, not all airdrops are the same. Some you think are going to get a ton, and then they're really stingy, and people complain, and then others you're shocked, and all of a sudden you get quite a decent airdrop. The last airdrop I got was around about $500, and I barely did anything in the airdrop at all. I actually only started participating about a week or two before, and I got quite a decent airdrop, and I was kicking myself that I didn't start months earlier when they had started with that airdrop. So you just never know, and if you have some dead time and you know how the Hamster Kombat system works, this works the same. If you don't know, I will create a video on this. I'll do a specific how to set up and get going, but you can get going by clicking on the link in the description below. And also, if you haven't signed up for the Stocks with Josh Discord, the best Discord on the planet, in my humble opinion. Josh has done an incredible job in there. He works tirelessly to give incredible value in there. I'm in the crypto channel every day with the greatest people, and it's so enjoyable connecting and meeting everybody in there. So I really encourage you, if you haven't signed up for that, the link is also below in the description. There's a bunch of links down below. Check all those out. And until the next video, happy trading.